What is up guys, it is Simba here and welcome back to the channel for some more league racing content on F1 23, and we are back with WOR for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix for round number 3 of the season. I don't know why I struggled saying that. Make sure you guys get subscribed for more content, and I just want to quickly say thank you so much for 200 subscribers. I really appreciate the support and we're gonna keep going. So, here we are on our one and only lap around the Jeddah street circuit through the first two corners. Nicely done on the traction. And you want to spot the turning point for turn number 3, 5th gear. We missed the apex a little bit and we go a little bit wide. Bottom out just a little bit on the outside curb as you make your way through this fast section. Very easy to bottom out on that curb on the left hand side, but we do it pretty nicely. But as a sector time on its own, it's not great as it's a 31.7. Fastest for the time being, but we can do a little bit better as we go through this left-hander now. We have made some tweaks to the setup, and it has allowed us to find a bit more time and a bit more confidence around the track. As you can see, we missed the apex again through that first part of the chicane, which is pretty much my least favourite corner on the entire circuit, but we get away with it for the time being as we open DRS towards turns 22 and 23. Very easy to invalidate. A little bit wide, but again, we get away with it.
Not been the greatest of bankers. It's a lot of understeer.
So we're coming towards the end of the lap now. You can hear me not too happy about the cars. We're getting a little bit of understeer. I think the tyre pressures were a little bit too high. As you know, that encourages a bit of understeer. There's not much turning you get with higher tyre pressures. As we do a 26.5 banker lap, and that puts us P4 for the time being. And we don't manage to improve that lap, and we end up in P10. Yeah, not ideal. And in this case, it's a bit frustrating because we did a 26.2. I think it was a midpoint 2 right before the start of the session, and that would have been enough for P4. So we are quite a way down on where we should be. But this is Jeddah, and most of the time in league racing, anything can happen around these streets. So we're going to give it our best shot anyway. And for this one, just like in SLR, we're going to stick to the same strategy. We're going to start on the hards and go on to the softs, try and be aggressive right at the end, as we saved a set of tyres, I think, for the race. So, after a lobby restart as well. So here we go then, from 10th place out of 16. Let's see how far we can get here for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And the lights are out and we are on the way here around Jeddah. And it's a pretty decent start. We're going to see if we can have a look up the inside into turn 1. And we actually get hit in the rear. You can hear me a little bit annoyed saying, yep, that's good, as we've dropped 5 places as out of the first 2 corners. We go up the inside of, I think, Istvan there on the hard tyres. We move up into P14, but it's not been a great start. And, yeah, a bit frustrating because, you know, it's Jeddah. Obviously, it's a street circuit with several overtaking opportunities, but it's a bit frustrating considering we started 10th and we actually were looking to make some progress. So, we've taken a step back at the start. You can see Slap Bus coming up the inside of us here, going into the last corner. And meanwhile, up ahead, there's a huge pile-up.
Oh my god.
On track, resulting in loose debris. Fortunately, the marshals have managed to clear it up in time, and there are so far no plans for a safety car. Virtual safety car, virtual safety car. Reduce speed immediately and keep a positive delta. Okay, the safety car is out. Safety car is out. We need to form up at reduced pace. Keep a close eye on that delta time. Make sure to keep it positive. Right, the safety car's waiting for the leader. You can overtake it. Overtake the safety car.
Well, that is a very easy clip for a short video. Jesus Christ.
So after a lot of waffling from Mark, we've got a safety car after that massive pile-up, and we're up into P7, and you can hear me cheekily saying that it's a very easy clip to make for the shorts, because I upload a few of those. But yeah, already thinking ahead of the game for when this video does come out. There'll be a few shorts videos coming out of this one. I think you'll enjoy it. So here we go then. Enough about shorts videos, and we're back with the action as the safety car has peeled up into the pits, and we're up into P7 after that cluster at the last corner. And you can see Slapbus already looking to be very aggressive on the opening lap of the restart as we fend him off around the outside. You can see Flo and FG Treat also going side by side through the first 2 corners, and in the end it's the Alpha Tauri that stays ahead. I think Flo has a little bit of a hit with the wall as well, and as a result that slows down the other FG driver of Damn It, and we get a really good run on the McLaren, but there's not much that we can do at this stage. You can see the McLaren goes wide through that corner, and it's very easy to do so, as meanwhile Slapbus is still hounding us here, and he goes up the inside through this left-hander, through the banking corner, and he is through, which, you know, obviously we're not going to fight him. It's lap 5. There are still quite a way to go in this race, but as we go through the chicane, look what Slapbus decides to do. He has a massive moment with the wall, and we just about pass him again.
Slapbus is really stupid.
And my reaction speaks for itself. I mean, obviously he can be aggressive, but for me, there's not much point doing that, because you're never going to win the race on the first lap of the race start, or, you know, even a safety car restart. You can see he's out of the race as well, so he's absolutely ruined his own race by just trying to be a hero for no reason. So that's us peacefully into P7, but...
Oh shit. Oh, for fuck's sake. That's not ideal.
We bottom out on that dangerous curb right at the end of Sector 1, and we have literally been sent back down to P10, which is where we started. So we've lost 3 places in one corner, which is pretty frustrating, because I generally thought we gave ourselves a kickstart to the race after that safety car, but Istvan is off.
There's been an incident on track, but officials
What is up with
aren't
everyone
looking to
today?
push for a safety car right now. Just be careful.
And just like that, we have got our second safety car already in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And you can even say, what's up with these guys today? As, yeah, obviously, racing standards have been a massive discussion in league racing at the moment, thanks to the events of WR Jeddah and PSGL as a whole, as they've been progressing through the season. It's been a massive talking point for the wrong reason, as the racing standards are pretty bad. But we're going to take this opportunity to box for a set of fresh medium tyres, and I'm expecting to make another pit stop towards the end of the race. But just in case there isn't another one, you know, we can try and get to the end of the race on a set of medium tyres. And we didn't really lose anything in that safety car. We are still in P9. There are, I think, a few cars ahead on hard tyres. I know there's a few drivers that have stayed out. I think Yona in the Williams has decided to stay out. So 2 more people pitted during that safety car, and we're back into P7. So as a whole, we didn't really lose anything, and we got saved by that mistake we made in the first sector. But we are underway again here in Jeddah, and we are looking to make some more progress. But this time, we're on a softer compound along with everybody else. So it's an even playing field here in Saudi Arabia as we go through the first few corners. And yeah, looking to see if we could pass Treat. I think he's on hard tyres. So, yeah, because I can't really read the left-hand screen there, the OSD. It's pretty small, so you don't lose out on the apexes. So, sorry about that. But we're going to see if we can pass the hard runner in the Alpha Tauri as we got to a lap 11. I think we've made a bit more progress as we go wide through that corner. And, yeah, so people are now starting to pass. The Williams in front of us, here's Langman looking to pass Yona, who stayed out on hard tyres. And it's up to us to try and make sure we keep up with the rest of the guys who have overtaken him, because, you know, DRS is so crucial around this track. There are 3 DRS zones that keep the train together, and if you don't have DRS, it's really hard to make up time around this track. So now we're going to use the overtake. We haven't used too much battery at this point, which is really good, considering that normally we would have used quite a lot by now, as we get past the Williams by the time we get to turn 22, and that is us up into the top 6 for the first time in this race. And now we're going to see if we can challenge the Ferrari going into the last corner, but there's nothing much doing there. So not a bad start to this race, as you can see here, Denzo has a bit of a moment. There's a bit of chaos behind us as Shazoo Anthony's probably dive bombed someone to try and get into 7th place, as Langman's looking to pass Denzo. We're looking to pass the McLaren as well. We might make it 3 wide going into the first corner. Langman knows it. He goes wide, and we go round the outside. We make a bit of contact with the Ferrari, and we somehow don't end up in the wall at turn 2, but we get past Denzo, and we're up into P5. And at this point, I was actually really glad that Langman gave us enough room and enough respect to not put us in the wall, because that could have easily happened and it would have ended up in a massive crash. And thankfully, we're still on the road. Meanwhile,
Okay, safety car deployed.
And
safety car's been
another
deployed.
safety car.
Watch your delta. Make sure you keep it positive.
Yep.
Okay, we can take you
Safety car number 3, and we're not even halfway through the race. Oh dear, Istvan has had a moment, I think, at the first sector, and it has forced everyone again to box for a set of mediums. And this time, we're going to use the mediums to get to the end of the race, because 12 laps isn't really too long around this track on the mediums. So here we go, out of the box we go. Langman has just jumped us.
faster than we were expecting.
Why has Anthony gone for softs?
So that's not a problem, as once again, we don't really lose much from that pit stop phase as we maintain P5. Meanwhile, Anthony's gone for soft tyres, which, to me, it makes no sense, because even if there's like 10 laps to go, his soft tyres will pretty much be gone by the end of the race, and we'll be on better tyres if there's not another safety car. So, lap 14, this is the third safety car restart. Let's try again, shall we? And see how much progress we can make. As I think Allison is leading the race in his debut. He hasn't really raced all season, and already he's at the front of the field. As meanwhile, we get a great restart. We are side by side with the Ferrari. As you can see, Treat is looking to pass Hav in the Alpine. And now going into turn 1, Langman gets boxed in, and that allows us to go round the outside. And we have the inside for turn 2 this time. And we give him enough space, and we are up into P4 as Denzo has also passed Langman as well. So Langman's lost 2 places in basically the space of 2 corners by just getting boxed in at the first corner. So very frustrating for him, but for us, it's one step closer to the podium.
How are they so fast on the straights? That's ridiculous.
And hold that thought, because we're struggling with straight line speed, and we just let Denzo go. I don't really know if it's them draining battery or it does with our setup, because we ran 30-24 wings, if I can recall. This race was a week ago. Yeah, so we're not really going to be great on the straights, and it shows as Denzo does pass us, but we maintain P5, and we're managing RS quite nicely. We've still got over 60%, and, you know, it's quite easy to save battery around this track, as, you know, going through turn 22 now. Unfortunately for us, we get our second warning for track limits by just going over the line at turn 22, so one more warning, and that is a 3-second penalty, which will prove to be very costly by the time this race is over. Meanwhile, up front on lap 17, TRT has been put in a wall by Allison. I don't know what on earth Allison was doing at the last corner, but he's clearly missed his braking point, and the AlphaTauri loses out, and that is us back up into P4. You can see Denzo looking for a move on the Mercedes into turn 1. He's got the outside line for turn 2, and you know what? He's actually going to make it stick. That's a brilliant move from the McLaren, and he gets it locked in by the time we get to turn 3. That is a great move from the McLaren, and he's up into P2 as TRT later retires, and that is safety car number 4 in this race. And now it is all about a sprint to the end of the race. TRT's binned it somewhere, and now the safety car is out.
Okay, caution, virtual safety car is out. Reduce speed and maintain a positive delta on your dash. Okay, we've got a full course caution. The safety car's out. Keep an eye on the delta. We need to keep it positive to avoid a penalty. Slow down, maintain positive delta.
So you can hear Mark Fraser just waffling and being about 10 seconds late as he tries to talk to me about a virtual safety car coming out when the full safety car has been deployed. So yeah, that's a bit annoying, but we're going to now have no choice but to box for soft tyres. I remember Jarno Opmeer stayed out in his race in Jeddah, and he paid the price quite badly, as people on softs are just so much quicker, because there's a massive delta between fresh and older tyres on this game, and you want to be on fresh tyres at any given opportunity, because you'll just be like 1 to 2 seconds lap faster than someone on old tyres. So now we're going to box for soft tyres to the end of the race for a final dash towards the line, and look at this, we've jumped Allison in the pit lane, and that is us up into P3. And now things have really changed. We started 10th on the grid when we could have qualified at least in the top 5, and now with just 4 laps to go in this race, we could be within a really good chance to win our first league race on F1 23, and it will be my first league racing win since December last year when I won in Brazil in Division 1. So it's been a long time since we've been this far up the field fighting for a race win. Stay tuned. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we can grasp this opportunity to win our first league race on F123 as the Alpine gets underway. Nothing much happens on this lap. We don't really get the same run as we did on Langman on the restart, but by the time we get to the end of lap 22, it is all kicking off now. You can see Allison is right behind us. We go up the inside of Denzo, making sure we lock the move in by the time we get out of the last corner, and we make sure we don't hit the Alpine. We're still side by side. There's a bit of contact with Denzo down the straight, and now we are nearly 3 wide going into the first corner. Can we get it on the brakes?
Oh my god, what the hell was that? Good stuff.
And sadly the answer is no. We've made contact with Hav, we've damaged our front wing, and you're thinking, hey, you're still P2, but the problem is that's our race over now. That's our chance gone to win the Grand Prix, because now you can see by the time we get to the penultimate lap, we've used up a lot of battery, and Denzo's already gapped us, and look at the poor run we're going to get now. This is literally going to be the run, the recurring theme for the last 2 laps. Allison just takes us for a mug. He says, thank you very much, I will take that position, and the same thing is going to sadly happen on the last lap. You see, we tried to keep it on the track, and it's just no use. We can't get a good run out of that corner, and now BRT F1 Ada will say the same thing, and he takes a late podium, and we can't do much. It's really hurting us in the right hand corners, I think, and by the time we get to the end of the last lap, we've got DRS, but we're just not close enough to make any inroads. It's the same thing as SLR a few weeks ago, and as a result we're going to miss out on a potential podium and a potential win as we come round the last corner. It's more frustration around Jeddah as we have to settle for P4.
Should have been a fucking podium.
And it's such a shame about that collision on lap 23, because I think without it we could have definitely got a podium and still be within a shot of winning the race, but at the end it is P4 that we'll have to settle for. Our best result of the season, so it's a step forward, and we did well to survive the initial chaos and make our way up the field to give ourselves a chance to win the race. And at this point I have no idea what the stewards have said about the incident on lap 23, so I'll let you guys know in the next video. But until then, that is the end of today's video. Check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them already, and I hope you enjoyed the chaos around Jeddah, and we go again in Spain. So until then, take care, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next one.